The mirror I have on my side-by-side has always been a little flimsy and floppy, but when I was putting the doors on, I wanted a nice, cheap, easy-to-use mirror, and one of my old Jeep mirrors worked perfectly for it. So this is what I've been using since, and it's just getting a little bit of outdated, wearing out, things like that. So I've been talking with Exploratory about their mirrors they have. Now, they are a overseas company that makes side-by-side equipment, but I wanted to try out a set of their mirrors and put them on the machine to see how I like them. And I wanted a nice set of trail mirrors that I could bounce off of trees and stuff and have just fold them back. So with this set, it's passenger and driver. It starts out, you just add in the screws to their little bracket that they have. So Allen head screw, pretty simple. They are flush mounted. They come with a little bit of thread locker on there to lock them in, which is really nice. So with this, I also have my Thumper Fab doors. So I wanted to make sure that the mirrors fit with the Thumper Fab doors. And that was one of my concerns. And these mirrors fit on the CanAm doors. They also fit into that piece of the roll bar. So with my brackets from Thumper Fab, I already have a bolt in the bottom that I need to reuse. So I put the mirror on, reused that bolt, but what would actually come with this kit for you to use is this little bracket that slides inside that triangle piece of roll bar that you would thread your bolts into. So it'd be inside the roll bar, right where I have it there, just on the inside, and you would thread through the mirror into that. But because of the setup I have to use that bottom bolt as part of the bracket for the latch. So I just made the hole a little bit bigger with my drill so I could accommodate a bolt that goes all the way through that hole in the roll cage, because I couldn't use that bracket for both bolts. I could only use it for one, and I was worried about it holding it in place. So what I did was run a bolt all the way through that spot on the roll cage, through the mirror, and it secured it firmly. So the bottom bolt is through the bracket for the latch for my Thumper Fab doors. The upper one is just through the hole of the roll cage. And you can see the difference in the bolts. I just went with a little bit bigger of a bolt. That's why I had to drill it out a little bit. And the reason why I did that was for the hole that's in the roll cage, I wanted to have a washer that would cover the hole with a bolt, and the bolt that came with the mirror wouldn't have worked because the hole in the roll cage is a little bit big. So just with what I had, I just added different bolts to it. The average person without an aftermarket door, you could run the little bracket they have, tighten everything up, and it would be just fine. But with my setup, I just had to tweak it a little bit. So I'm tightening down the bolts, getting it set. This whole process, even though I have this fast forwarded a little bit here, this whole process only took 5 minutes to get everything done and get this mounted. It was really quick. Now, peel off the cellophane and make sure that the door latches, and we are in business with this mirror. Now, moving on, we're going to go and do the other side. But you can see how nice they look, how well it bolts on, how well it sits. Now, again, going through the same process with the passenger side, adding the countersunk bolts into the bracket, into the mirror, tightening them up with the supplied Allen wrench. Again, they have thread locker on the threads. And then I'm just going to drill this one out a little bit. Just make that bolt hole one size bigger. That's all I was doing with it. Make that one size bigger so I can do the same thing as I did on the other side by running that bolt through the roll cage, just because I can't add that factory bracket. Again, running the bolts through, tightening them up, getting them all locked in. It's actually a really easy, really simple mounting system. I was very impressed with how quick and easy, even with the slight modification I had to make, how quick and easy they went on. And they're right at a good spot where they don't interfere with the door. They don't interfere with you getting in and out with where the door is. They're just out of the way, nice. The mirrors are actually 8 inches tall, and 6 inches wide at the widest, which is a nice surface area to be able to look out of it. And one of my other concerns with it was, when I drive, are they going to be vibrating? Because with a side-by-side, one way to tell good mirrors or not is if they start vibrating ridiculous when you're idling to the point where you can't even see out the mirror because of how bad they're vibrating, that's kind of a turn off with them, and I don't like the mirrors to do that. But even here, driving down through this part of our property, I was hitting some bumps, some potholes, and you'll notice the mirrors don't move at all. They're solid. They stay right where they need to be. And right here I hit a pretty good bump. They all stay in place. None of them move around, which is really nice. The mirrors are also very mobile. So the little bracket sticks out there, but it's solid. You'll feel how and see how quality they are by how well they pivot around, they move. They're solid, but yet flexible enough that if you hit something, they'll swing out of the way, and then you just slide it back. Even going 35 miles an hour down the road, they didn't wiggle, they didn't shake. It's a good quality mirror that I'm looking forward to using on the trails. Thank you.